Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Hey, what's up? Happy Friday to everyone. Hope you had a nice Thursday night. The only two bets I placed last night were the under in Jets-Texans, which hit, which was my bigger bet, and then I had Texans money line, which lost. So pretty much break even. I made a few dollars because I bet the under slightly heavier. Stayed away from the NBA, stayed away from that ugly college football game, just didn't like anything. And it's probably, actually, I think my NBA picks would have went 2-2. So I guess I would have broke even if I bet my NBA picks, but I didn't touch anything. That being said, I have 6 bets open tonight. So I do have some action on this Friday night for NBA and 2 college football. So I got 6 bets open. We're going to get into it. Same guests here as yesterday, Skee and Chris. We got, 8 NBA games on the board today? Nine. So we got 9 NBA games on the board and then 3 college football games. So we're starting with the NBA. First up is Boston and Charlotte, and I don't know who the graphic came from, but I went to put Charlotte team total under in the folder as a graphic, and it was already there, which means one of you guys took it on your show. I don't know who it was, though. Did one of you guys take Charlotte team total under?
No, it was just a lane that I had earlier this morning, Kyle, looking through the game. Really just based on Charlotte's and I think you wait till I don't know if Brendan Miller's been ruled in or not. Last time I checked, he hadn't been ruled in, but he was listed as questionable. You could see this tick up just a tad bit. I do expect the spread to get a little bit smaller. But the money coming in on over the day may have already kind of changed that. But really, this is like Charlotte just being really inconsistent offensively. I look at what they have been doing, and they've been shooting the 3-point ball like decently. But they can't, like, Charlotte can't guard Boston. Like, and this is what I'm trying to say. Charlotte's not going to be able to score the ball on Boston, in my opinion, with Boston coming off a loss. And Charlotte being so inconsistent offensively. Like, I don't think the threes from Trey Mann and Grant Williams, LaMelo maybe have a good game, but Charlotte, I don't think is going to, like, I just don't like them in this spot as much. Boston's 8-2 against the number with Mazzulla as a coach after coming off a loss. And there's a 14, and that's over, like, I think it's a 14 game sample size. So yeah, for all of those reasons, I just don't think Charlotte's going to be able to score the ball in this game. I think this is the first of a little back-to-back series, which is why I didn't bet it. I'll see what happens today, and then I'll probably bet the one tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm on the same. I didn't bet this one, but same exact thing. Charlotte team total under. I was seeing it the same exact way for pretty much the same exact reasons. Charlotte defensively has played all right. We've seen them play one good offensive basketball this year. One good offensive basketball game this year was against Toronto. It was just a terrible organization. They've really been rebounding the ball well, which is why I took the Raptors against the Hornets in their last game, because I said Charlotte's not going to be able to win the rebounding battle against Toronto. They're second, Toronto's first. So really rebounding them, the rebounding discrepancy has kept them in these games. Offensively, their shots just aren't falling. They've been relying on the 3-point shot, and Boston's defended the perimeter well. So I think Boston covers as well. I think the Celtics beat them up pretty good here. But if I was forced to place a bet in this game, it would be the same as Chris. Charlotte team total under. Skee?
Well, I was hoping he didn't say anything to me because I couldn't hear anything Chris was saying. It was like the most awkward couple minutes.
Chris, leave and come back. Skee can't hear you.
It was like the most awkward couple minutes for me. And then I hear you come in and say, I agree with everything that you said. So for myself, I'm looking at this one more from just a prop. And I'll go with Jason Tatum over 28.5 points. It's a little bit of a homecoming for him coming back to North Carolina. This is where he has success. To look at the last 7 games versus the Hornets, I think he's averaging just below 38 points per game. Only one game was even below 30 points. So it is a place where Tatum feels comfortable. He probably has a lot of his friends and family come watch him play, and he performs. So Tatum over 28.5 points is going to be my play for this game.
Yeah, and it makes sense because we got into an argument in the office during the playoffs last year about, we called Jason Tatum a bad team merchant, and we looked up his points per game per team, and he smokes the bottom 10 team, like 35 points a night against the worst teams in the conference. So this would be a Jason Tatum merchant game against Charlotte.
He loves beating up on them dog shit teams.
Yeah, he does.
This is
He
the
loves
spot,
it.
baby. This is the spot.
Yeah.
For the team.
Yeah, perfect example. Tatum loves these games. But all right, let's move on to the next one, which is Knicks Pistons. I bet Detroit here, plus the 6.5. I didn't take the money line, although I do think they can win. Still not. I still don't think the Knicks are playing their best basketball. I know they got a couple of nice wins in there against Indiana and Miami, but really impressed with the way the Pistons played in their 2 home games. We've seen Detroit play 2 home games so far. They showed up for both of them. They were against Indiana and Boston. Both games they lost by 6, and the Boston one is especially impressive. They played a game in Cleveland the night before, flew home back-to-back. Boston shot 22 of 48 from 3. So they were in Cleveland, flew home with no day off against the Celtics. The Celtics hit 22 threes in the game, and Detroit still played them down to the end, only lost by 6. So I'm really impressed with the way these Pistons have looked so far. I think 6.5 is too many. I don't think Knicks have warranted laying this kind of number on the road yet. Are the Knicks 6.5 points better than the Pistons? Yeah. But right now, at this point in the season, Detroit's playing with a lot of energy and a lot of confidence, and I think the Knicks are still a little bit out of sorts here. So this is one of my bets. I took the points with the Pistons here.
I can understand that bet. And, I look at the Knicks. First thing that pops out to me is their defensive rating is 27th. And argument can be made, well, they played the Celtics, but like you said, the Pistons played that same Celtics team, and their defensive rating is better. I could understand wanting to grab the points here. What stood out to me was Knicks playing at the absolute slowest pace in the league so far, and Pistons right behind them at the 3rd slowest. I do believe that the Knicks can be better than, their 27th defensive rating so far. So for those reasons, I'll just lean towards the under.
I considered under as well. I was looking at the same thing at the pace. I was considering under as well. It's down at 217.5 for a reason. So I was thinking similarly. Chris?
We still don't know about Karl Anthony Towns being in, right? And I would think that this means that he's probably not going to play because what's the line now? What you get? You got plus 6.5?
Yeah, I think it's still 6.5. At least it was an hour ago.
I know it opened yesterday evening after we finished the show. The lines that came out and it was 7.5.
Well, actually, I'm seeing 7s now. Okay,
so maybe I don't know, but I think that definitely changes my viewpoint of this game just because he means a lot. We see him have a very explosive game. But if you go back and look at it, Skee probably looked at this, and you may have looked at it as well, Kyle. Like the Knicks own Detroit. Like they this is like the little brother, like the little brother, right? The one you just like
the littlest brother.
Yeah, the littlest. Yeah, he's the baby brother. So yeah, I think Detroit, like K's been a part of that. Ivy's been a part of that. Like there are some players on that team that's like trying to change the culture with JB Bickerstaff. JB Bickerstaff has actually been owned by the Knicks as well with his time in Cleveland. So. I think plus the points would be the only way that I would look. I think Skee's onto something with the under as well. Detroit, like, really shut Philly down. I know Philly offense is like pretty terrible right now without Embiid and PG, but the defense played a lot better than I thought they would, and I kind of kicked myself for not taking the points in the last game. And I think they're still motivated to win a few games. Like even with that win last game, it's still only one win. So yeah, it would be plus the points. I hate that I'm getting the worst of the number, but if you said 7, Kyle, I might get there. It'd be Detroit or nothing for me in this game, and I also lean under as well.
Yeah, I wonder if that means Towns is going to play. Not sure.
If he's rolled in, I might wait and get a better number.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't change I wouldn't try to cash out or anything. I'd still let it rock. I don't care if Towns is in there or not. I don't think the Knicks are playing their best basketball right now. I know they got a couple of nice wins, but there's also some concerning moments so far. So, yeah, I'm on the Pistons. Next game. Orlando, Cleveland, another one of my bets. I think you can get a better number than I did right now. Yeah, you can get a 7. I got a 7.5. I don't really care. Cleveland's a wagon right now, and this Cavs team, dating back multiple years, they go on hot. They win in bunches. When the Cavs are hot, you just don't fade them. I mean, this team will win 13, 14 in a row, and don't worry, they'll get cold. And then there will be times this year where we're blindly fading the Cavs. But right now, I swear I'd be laying 7.5 with Banchero in there. This Cleveland team looks like the best offense in the NBA so far. Obviously, it's been 5 games. They played some bad defenses. They're not the best offense in the NBA. I'm saying right now, next to the Celtics. This Cleveland offense looks as fluent as you can get right now. They've come out hot. And let's be real. The reason for my bet is not the injury situation in Orlando. I'm on Cleveland, by the way, prop viewer. The reason for my bet is not the injury situation in Orlando. This is a bet on Cleveland, not a fade of Orlando. That being said, where's the offense coming from here for Orlando without Banchero? Franz Wagner isn't even 100%. I don't know if he's going to play or not. He's listed as questionable. I mean, Jalen Suggs' usage rate is going to go through the roof. He's not the best offensive player. I don't really know where the points are coming from for Orlando here, especially on the road in Cleveland, a team that protects the rim at an elite level. So unless KCP is about to hit 7-8 threes tonight, unless Anthony Black, unless Gary Harris is going to chip in 6 or 7 threes, I just don't know where the points are coming from here for Orlando. So I'm on Cleveland. I got it at 7.5. It dropped a little bit. Maybe that means Wagner's going to play, but it's Cavs for me.
That's an interesting. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to play this game, but I'll use my time to say it looks extremely easy to go in here and just take the Cavs right now. Like you said, everything you said, they're playing so well. Paolo's hurt. I mean, they've been smacking everybody. Why wouldn't they come in and smack this Orlando team? Thing I'll say is Orlando. I mean, we see this a lot of times too, where the star players ruled out and everybody else steps up for at least that first game before they start to look like everybody thought they would look. So for those reasons, I just don't feel comfortable betting it. If I had to play it, I would try to bet Orlando and think that they, show something and compete this first game.
And we know Orlando, even without Banchero, is probably still going to be a tough defensive team. So if you're playing the Magic, you could look that way. I am not standing in front of Cleveland, though. Chris?
I'm not standing in front of Cleveland either, but I didn't bet Cleveland because, to Skee's point, like everything that he said with the playoff revenge, this team was the team that took them to Game 7. Cleveland first leg of a back-to-back. They got a divisional game against. I'm not sure how much you really care about the Bucks right now. I mean, they're like the worst team in basketball. So, but they do have that game tomorrow, and that's always been a very competitive series. Orlando is a plus 7.1 point score per 100 possessions with Paolo on the floor and a minus 2.1 without him on the floor. He's played like big time minutes. So it was too many things that, are very conflicting. What I will say, last thing I'll mention, because I didn't bet the game either, Orlando, they're not doing a great job of defending the three. I don't know if you looked into that and that was part of your handicap, Cal, but they're 24th right now in opponent three-point accuracy, allowing teams to shoot 40%. That's problematic because the Cavs look like the Warriors at times where they're just jacking threes, shooting really, really fast. They're 10th in transition frequency right now, second in points scored per 100 possessions in transition as well. Like, that's problematic because we've seen Orlando's defense struggle at times so far this season. So I say all that to say that I would be with you, Kyle. I would be laying the points. But I didn't get to the window with anything yet. And this is another game. Y'all know I like to wait. I want to see what happens with Franz. I put my money on one side or the other, even if I was going to be invested in this one.
All right.
And last time they let Franz go out there, and he still left the game. And then after he left the game, right, I think the Pacers went on it felt like a 20-0 run.
No, I think it might have been 40-0, Skee, because I was on Orlando in that spot too. And I'll say this: I jumped on. I think I said this the other day, Cal. I jumped on Orlando on Sunday when the game was on Monday when they were playing against Indiana because Indiana went to overtime with Philly. And then Franz gets ruled out with an illness on Monday. I'm trying to get ahead of the line, and he gets ruled out. So I'm not betting on Orlando right now. I'll pass.
And honestly, I don't know if Franz really scares me. He was so bad against Cleveland in that. I'll never forget what I saw from him and Suggs, the shooting performance.
9%.
Oh my God! I was holding an Orlando Magic ticket. I was cursing at the TV. I've never been so upset at an NBA playoff game at a shooting performance from Wagner and Suggs in that game. But next game up, Lakers, Raptors. I have a bet on this game, but it's long gone. I got the over at 226.5 last night. So nice. it's way gone. Is that 233 now? 232.5. So, I mean, if I'm being honest, I still think it gets up and over that. But obviously, I like my over at 226.5 a lot better. I mean, it's pretty simple here. The Lakers want to pick up the tempo, run the fast break, and the Raptors are happy to play that type of game. I I think the Lakers are going to contribute more than the Raptors are to this. I do think the Lakers probably cover this as well, but I'm not trying to bet that. The Raptors like to play at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and both teams are happy to play that type of game. And a lot of times when you have these teams that pick up the pace and run the fast break, it's the other team that tries to slow it down and break you out of that, and that's what keeps the game balanced. Both these teams are happy to do that. So the ball's just going to be going up and down the court. So not to mention the Raptors play no defense, nothing that even resembles a defense. So yeah, I got the over 226.5 as of right now, 232.5. Probably be closer to a pass, but honestly, I'd still go over.
I agree with that. I was looking at a first half number here to see if I could 113.5 up from 111.5. I mean, I think I'm looking at the numbers here. You have number 1 in fast break points and number 6, and then you have dead last in fast break points allowed versus 18th. I mean, should be up and down the floor, like you said. And just defensive rating for both of these teams in general, dead last and 24th so far this season. So I think you did a good job beating the line towards the over. I also think that it's interesting for as good. I mean, both of these teams have been covering, but the Raptors have been covering, and now you get a 9.5. Like, it's just, I don't know. That stood out to me that this line is so high, even though they continue to fight hard. So I do think it's a Lakers spot off back-to-back losses. I think they can eat in the paint and in the fast break, and it'll be Lakers or over for me.
Chris?
Yeah, you guys, I'm in agreement with both of you guys here. I think Quickly is listed as doubtful. Scotty Barnes, of course, is out. And Skee mentioned it, like getting embarrassed. Like that wasn't just a loss. Like Skee said they were coming off a loss.
You good?
It's not just that they were coming off a loss; they were coming off a beat down. Like they got smoked by Cleveland the other day. That game was not as close as the final score. What's the word I'm looking for? As it turned out to be. So to your point, Skee, I was looking at like just kind of playing around earlier, like teams road favorites, rested road favorites coming off back-to-back losses that land 8 points, like statement type game. They are covering about 57%. I'm not going to play the Lakers. I think if I wanted to be involved, it would be early, just because Toronto, kind of like all of the other like really suck teams that don't know that they suck yet, they're playing all the way to the end. So like I can see a backdoor cover here. So I think Lakers come out with something early. First half would be the play if I was playing anything here. Lakers first half.
Lakers first half. All right. I think we're all in agreement that the Raptors are not going to make many stops. How about that? We're all circling the same idea. The Raptors defense is trash. Next up. Oh, we Snooky. All right. Kings, Hawks. So I have a pick to put on the screen, and you have a graphic in there. I didn't bet this. I kind of want to see what you guys think. Now, the reason that the total for this game is 236.5 is because the Hawks run they run fast as hell. One of the fastest paces in the NBA, and they play no defense. That's why you're going to see these crazy high totals here.
You like the under, don't you, Cal?
I like the Hawks team total under 115.5.
Me too.
The Kings are coming off back-to-back games where they played a slow pace and played good defense. So if you want to make the argument that the Kings should score at will on the Hawks defense, sure, I'm with that. But, I mean, 115.5 for the Hawks. I know they're going to run a fast pace, but the Kings have been playing some good defense, and they've slowed the pace down the last couple games. 115.5 is a very high number for an ass basketball team. So I didn't actually place this. I was circling the idea. That's where I want to go with it. Hawks team total 115.5 for the Hawks. I especially when the Kings back-to-back games with a pace under 100, back-to-back games with a positive defensive rating for the Kings. So the Kings playing some defense right now. I don't think there's any way the Hawks get up and over this, but I didn't place it. My confidence wasn't high enough for me to actually put money on this. What do you guys think?
I don't have as much faith in Sacramento's defense as you or both of you guys do. I'm looking at who they just played. Portland team who likes to play slow, doesn't have much offensively anyway. And Utah, who just flat out stinks. Like they didn't have to do anything in that game. They didn't have to push any pace. So that doesn't mean anything to me. That's kind of what I'm saying as far as the Sacramento defense. I still think that, Atlanta can take advantage because we know they're capable on offense as long as Trae Young is out there. They've scored 120 or 119 plus in every game except for the one they faced OKC, who is the legit defense. So I think the Hawks can score here. I also think Sacramento can score because, like you said, all the Hawks do is play fast, score, and play no defense. So I will be looking towards over if I'm playing this game.
Over 236.5, Chris.
So my initial thought is what you said, Kyle. The reason I didn't play this because of what Skee said.
Yeah, I mean playing Portland. Yeah, you probably shouldn't throw somebody a parade for having a good defensive game against Portland.
And to Skee's point, like this is the Hawks have played 5 games. All 5 have gone over. They're going over by average of 11.5 points. Like in Atlanta on a Friday, I don't think I really want to under. Like that could ruin my evening. So yeah, I stayed off. I wanted to get there with Sacramento too, man. You lose 2 games against the Wizards, I think you should automatically just be blindly faded in the next game. Like anytime throughout the season, you lose 2 games back to back to the Wizards, like we should automatically just take the other team. But I didn't get there either. To your point, Kyle, like Sacramento is coming off 2 days rest, 2 straight unders. But as Skee mentioned, albeit against Portland and Utah. So, and it's the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game against Toronto tomorrow. And it's a 4th game in 6 nights for Atlanta, 5th game in 8 nights as well. So, yeah, I didn't play it, but I would be looking towards my top bet would be that under on the team total with you, Kyle.
All right, let's move on to Bulls Nets. I don't know. I feel like the Bulls this game. The data points for the Bulls are so all over the place that I think it's in my best interest to not bet a Chicago Bulls game for another week because, I mean, all right, I'm getting that we can go ahead and accept that the Bulls are running a fast pace this year. Okay, that's pretty consistent. We could stick with that. But after that, there's just no consistency from this team. I mean, we have great shooting nights. We have terrible shooting nights. We have great defensive nights. We have terrible defensive nights. So as far as, all right, the Bulls are running a fast pace. I think we can draw that conclusion because they have consistently run a fast pace. But after that, I still have no idea what this Bulls team is. So this is a straight pass for me across the board. I know the Bulls have looked good in the last couple of games, but I also think it's a nice, sharp spot to play Brooklyn. So nothing for me.
Josh Giddey, Kitty, Diddy, whatever you want to call him, we're going him over 28.5 points. And you look at when he's played without Lonzo so far this season, it's only been 2 games, but averaging 34 PRA over the 28.5 in both games. If you look back, not last season, but the seasons before when he was getting more minutes, like 30 plus minutes, he was getting 30 PRA as well. So until Lonzo comes back, I'm really looking at this every time. And it's versus a Brooklyn defense. I don't see Claxton injured anymore, but I was going to say missing rim protection too. But that Brooklyn defense just in general, I think can be had. So Giddey over PRA, I roll with once again.
You've been betting. How many Josh Giddey bets you placed this year?
I think this will be the 3rd.
Wow. 3 times on betting Josh Giddey. Interesting start.
And Chris? He said he gonna do it again too. Cause I don't know if you're listening. He said he gonna keep it going.
I'm choosing my words carefully because I was gonna be like, "Wow, and you gotta choose your words carefully with Giddey." Chris, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, I don't have many on this game either. The Zach LaVine injury, he's listed as question, but I think it's like a shoulder injury. That scares the living mess out of me. Scares
the Giddey out of you?
No, absolutely not. Giddey was never in me, so yeah, not out of me. Back-to-back wins for Chicago. They did beat Orlando and Memphis. Just skip this game. I don't have anything here.
Yeah, so the only bet here is Giddey. Next up. Pacers Pelicans. What did I get this at? I have a bet in this game, by the way. I forget what line I got. Let me check real quick. I placed it last night. 234.5. I got the under. What's it at now?
232.5.
All right, so it hasn't moved that far. So this one is still in play. I took the under in this one. I know that taking under in Pacers games is a little challenging. They haven't run quite the fast pace that we knew them to run last year. That being said, I'm not going to be fooled into thinking Indiana's going to be a slow-paced team this year. I'm sure they will speed it up at some point. In fact, we did see them speed it up against the Celtics in the last game. But for the most part, they've been running a little bit of a slower pace. But in reality, this is just a fade of the Pelicans. Who the hell is scoring for the Pelicans in this game? Not to mention, Indiana's been playing some solid defense. In fact, if you look at the Pacers game logs, they've actually played better defense than they have offense this year. I mean, they beat the Celtics on the back of their defense. 49.1 effective field goal percentage the Celtics had in Indiana. That's a great defensive performance against Boston. And I mean, they've had 3 excellent defensive performances out of their 5 games, like great defensive games. So I'm becoming a believer in this Pacers defense. But as far as this Pelicans team goes, so well, on that back-to-back against Golden State, I lost with them the first night. If you guys remember, I was like, guys, I want to take Pelicans, but I won't do it. Well, actually, later that night, I ended up betting the Pelicans before the game started. So I watched that entire second game, like rinse, lather, repeat. I watched in disgust, losing another Pelicans bet. This team is broken. I don't know if they're like a bottom 5 team in the NBA, or at least right now. That was terrible. So this Pelicans team is bad. So I think it stays under. Indiana, better defensive team than people give them credit for, I'd say. So I got the under 234.5.
So you said some things I agree with, and you said some things I disagree with. I'll start off with the agreement. I'll be nice. The Pelicans, I was expecting them to be ass this year, really. Like, the collection of players that they have are not good together. It's not enough shooting. It's not going to be enough spacing. They're not going to have success. That was my thought coming into the season. Now you have a extremely banged up Pelicans team. And that's what they look like. Like, they're losing to all of these teams that they should be beating. Like, it's nothing, absolutely nothing to like about the Pelicans right now. I had a season ticket Pelican holder, or however you say it. He has season tickets for the Pelicans. He says he don't even think he could sell them. He has to just give them away. He says nothing to be excited about to go to the games. Just fade them every night. That's how they look. For the Pacers, this is where I'm going to have some disagreement. And you kind of mentioned it though, but I lost a bet last game with them because I took the under because of what you're saying. They weren't playing fast, et cetera, everything that you said. But what was pointed out to me, so I took the under, and then I went out to lunch with a couple of my good friends in the industry, and they mentioned to me that one of the players, or a couple of the players for Indiana, mentioned that they need to pick up the pace. And what do we see in that Celtics game? They were picking up that pace, and they played a lot better. That's why the offense hasn't been looking good for them. So I think the Pacers will get back to how they looked last year. I think it'll be sooner than later. And I would look towards if I'm playing one play, it would be the Pacers in this game. I agree with the market moving it up. I think they can run New Orleans right out the gym. And I think, we'll start to see more overs sooner than later.
All right, so Pacers minus 4.5. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to argue with a fade of the Pelicans at this point. Chris, you on the Pellies?
Absolutely not. I agree with everything Skee said about the Pelicans. I don't agree with everything Skee said, but everything he said about the Pelicans is absolutely true. I lost the first night. I wasn't brave enough, like you, Cal, to go back to the
Don't
Pelicans.
call it bravery. I would say more stupidity, maybe a little bit of a mental break. But yeah, I wouldn't call it bravery.
So the spot here, Indiana 4th and 6 nights, 5th game at 8 nights, and coming off overtime is what kept me off the pace. I still feel like they're the right side though. But for that reason, Skee, even with what you're saying about them increasing the pace, I still feel like it's an under game. Like, if the Pelicans are going to keep the game within 4.5, right? I mean, it's not going to be because they go out there and score 120 points. Like, it's going to be because they play a little bit slower. And that's what we've seen. Like, this offense is 28 in points scored per 100 possessions, 105.9. Like, in, Pacers offense, 23rd in frequency right now in offensive transition. The other thing was, if we go back to last year and look at the Pacers, when they were road favorites, that's when they played defense. 12-4 to the under last season with the Pacers on the road. So this was one that I talked about on my show this morning, Cal. It was 232.5, and I still like it under that number as well.
I think all three of these bets cash, though, because if I'm on the side, it would be the Pacers as well. 122-101 final score, Indiana. Let's move on to the next one. Man, I mean, a cool basketball game to watch. I'll have it on the TV. But in terms of bet, do you guys have anything? I feel like I feel like I have no feel for either of these basketball teams right now. I lost a bet with Minnesota against Dallas that I liked, so I had to take a step back and come to terms with maybe I don't understand this Minnesota team as well as I thought I did. And Denver, I don't even know what I think about the Nuggets right now. I think we all know that they're better than what they've showed in the first few games of the year, but I don't know. I don't even have a lean in this game. I'm all ears if you guys have anything.
Well, I have thoughts about both of these teams.
Let's hear it.
And my thoughts are the same that they were to start the season. Denver is going to go this way. They continue to get rid of important pieces like that were their role players, like Bruce Brown, KCP. And then you come in, I said it earlier. I got somebody tweeting me right now who said that they liked it. I called it subtraction by addition. When you add Russell Westbrook over there, it's not going to be winning basketball. And he did have one good game, though. I'll give him that. For Minnesota, I feel the same way. I feel like they took a step back when you get rid of Karl Anthony Towns and add Julius Randle. I think I've told both of you guys how I feel about him, so I don't think I have to explain this. It's Westbrook right here on the list, Julius Randle right there on the list. So I'm not a fan of either one of these teams. If I wanted to bet Minnesota, there's only one person I trust, and that's Anthony Edwards. So if I was making one play, it would be on his points in this game.
Edwards over points. Here's the thing I'll say about Julius Randle, and it's not even that I disagree with you because I've heard your take on it before, is that Julius Randle is just not a good piece if you're trying to build a winning basketball team, and I wouldn't even disagree with that. I kind of think Karl Anthony Towns can be had a similar conversation to an extent, as in, like, can you really count on Towns in a big game to go out there and get you 30? Because, I mean, based on what we've seen, I don't think we can. That's why when a lot of Knicks fans asked me when the trade happens what I thought, I was like, I think it's a wash, man, because yeah, we don't trust Julius Randle in the playoffs, and we picked up another guy that we probably can't trust in the playoffs. So I think that the Towns, you can have the similar conversation. Although Towns just seems to be a little bit less. Julius Randle takes plays off on defense, and it's infuriating at times. Where maybe Towns less of that. So I could see it a little bit. I'm not going to defend Julius Randle because I do understand the criticism of him. Chris, anything here?
To your point, I think they should rescind the trade. I think both of them are better where they were. I definitely agree with that. Like, let Cat go back, please, and send Julius Randle back too. He just fit better. Like, it's still weird, like, to see him in green, like, in general. So, like, he's never, even at Kentucky, like, I've never seen him in a green jersey. But anyway, I did bet this one. I bet first quarter for Minnesota. First quarter -1.5. I know you got the playoff revenge here. My first quarter bet of the season. You got the playoff revenge angle here for Denver. But the thing, as I start talking about this, Kyle, your head probably about to start nodding like this. If you've watched Denver play, right, this season, they've been terrible early in games. Like, every single game that they've played, they've had to come back from. The game in Toronto, they had to come back from. They got down big to the Clippers at home in that game. They got down big to the Brooklyn Nets and had to come back, fight tooth and nail in that game. So on the season, I think I don't know if they're the only team, but they have not covered a first quarter spread. 0-4. Minnesota, 3-1 against the first half spread. They're actually top 4 in net rating, a +21.2, right? Denver, the worst first quarter team in the NBA. They're -29.6.
Holy shit.
So I will take Minnesota at home, coming off a loss to the Dallas Mavericks, third straight home game. I took a -1.5 in the first quarter.
Minnesota.
Can I ask something? Can you correct me if I'm wrong? But they used to play Jokic like the entire first quarter, and like in previous years, and that's why Nuggets were so good in the first quarters. Now I feel like they're taking them out and putting you know who in. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, I'm not
with
a basher
Baltimore.
of Westbrook. I'm not as big of a basher of Westbrook as you are, Skee, but he's not, I'm not singing his praises either. So, I mean, maybe that has something to do with it. I think the other thing is, like, when he does go to the bench for those last, like, 2 minutes, if he comes out, 2 minutes with 2 minutes left, and also just the players around him in the starting lineup. Like, there's no KCP anymore. So now you're depending on Christian Braun to make those wide open threes when he gets doubled. And yeah, we've seen the Timberwolves have, really good success. If the Timberwolves were coming off a win, I wouldn't like the spot as much, but they hate the Nuggets. So I do expect them to still be motivated, fired up in this spot. Minnesota first quarter minus the 1.5.
All right, let's move on to the next game here, which is Oklahoma City, Portland. I don't even think I looked at this game, to be honest. I think I glanced at it and was like, I'm not interested. I just, based on what I know about these teams, I would say maybe look towards a Portland team total under. The offense is trash. Oklahoma City, maybe the best defensive team in the NBA. This was a top 5 defense last year, and they added Caruso. So, Oklahoma City might have the best defense in the NBA this year. Portland, like I said, not only can they not score, but they also run a slow pace. The thing is, Oklahoma City might want to pick the pace up on them. So, I don't have a bet in this game. I'm open to suggestions, though, if you guys have anything.
Yeah, that was just off the top of the head, huh, Kyle?
Yeah, well, that's just what I know about these teams.
Well, I say I'm looking at it in a very similar way. Portland team total under, for one, I agree with, because we know how elite OKC is defensively. They haven't given up more than 104, I believe, so far this season. And the team total for Portland was 104.5. So we know they're elite on that end. And we know Portland's offense struggles. They're bottom 5 right now. Well, I had trouble with anything else because I wanted to bet either the first half or the full game under, is kind of what you mentioned there. Portland turns the ball over, and OKC is number 1 in turnovers forced. They like to get out in transition, and Portland is bottom 5 as far as transition defense, fast break points allowed. So I do think the Thunder can kind of name their number a little bit in a sense. I was unsure if I can trust Portland's defense. I thought they were playing better the past couple games. Like even Chauncey Billups was saying there's no better way to win a game than with defense after the last one. So I was thinking maybe I can trust it, but I'm unsure. I want to play first half under 113. That's the best number I see. These teams are combined 9-0 to the first half under. So between that and the team total under is kind of how I'm viewing this game. And I didn't play the first quarter Portland that I said I was going to play every game. I didn't play 2 games. One, I saved myself, and I'm not playing it again here just because I don't think it's the best matchup. So if I'm playing, it's Portland team total under or first half under 113.
First half under 113 or Portland team total under. Yeah, I probably put up Portland team total under 104.5 for me. That would be my bet as well. Chris?
Yeah, it's the same for me. Portland team total under 104.5. I talked about this one earlier too. Both of these teams on the first leg of back-to-back. I mean, they both play what Skee will call lesser than tomorrow. The Clippers, I still kind of feel like are lesser than, and that's who OKC got. And Portland got Phoenix tomorrow. Well, never mind. They both got good teams. I'm sorry. I must have misread this. But to the under, Skee mentioned OKC hasn't given up, 104 points except once. You mentioned it, Cal, to give you a little bit of rebuttal, Skee. I think if you want to look at Portland, the one advantage they do have is their offensive rebounding. They are 5th best offensive rebounding team versus an OKC team that's still giving up. I mean, it hasn't really hurt them a lot at all, but they're still giving up the 5th most offensive rebounds in the league right now. But the thing about Portland is where are they going to score? They're number 1 in rim frequency, so they shoot the most shots at the rim. But OKC's defense is number 1 at opponent rim accuracy. So they're not giving up, even though they're allowing teams to shoot the ball there, they're not giving up points in the paint. Portland isn't a team that shoots the 3-point ball well. They're 24th in 3-point percentage, and OKC is defending the 3-point line the best. The other thing about Portland, last point, they don't get out and run it all. 25th in transition frequency, and they run the second most amount of their plays in the half court. 82.5% of their plays come in the half court. And the Oklahoma City Thunder's defense, the best defense in the NBA in the half court. They're giving up, just 69 points in the half court per game. So I think team total under is the way to go, and that's the way I bet this one, under 104.5.
Maybe I'll place this. If you guys both agree. The way I look at this game, Portland, slow pace, bad offense, Oklahoma City, elite defense. So, I mean, yeah, it just falls into place. All right. So, next up is college football. Can you clear the picks out so they can see their names on the screen? I'm sure you guys already know who these guys are, but in case you don't, That's their names on Twitter, and they both each have their own YouTube show. Chris is in the morning, around 9:30 a.m. Eastern time usually, right, Chris?
Nah, way earlier than that. About 7:45, 8 o'clock. But
before
yeah.
I'm up, that's when it's at. And Skee's is at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So they both have their own channels and their own daily show. You'll see me in the comments. Well, more so Skee's. Chris is way too early in the morning. But yeah, make sure you show these guys some support. Appreciate you guys taking the time to come on.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yep.
Absolutely.
luck,
Best of
Later.
luck tonight, fellas.
Yep. Talk to you guys later.
Kyle, you're not doing NBA tomorrow, right?
No, probably not. College football.
Okay.
I won't be able to.
Okay. All right, cool.
All right. 2 college football games to go. Three college football games to go through. Not exactly screamers, but I do have 2 bets down. So I do have 2 bets open in these games. You have 1 bet, Scoop? One second. All right, so we got 3 college football games. There we go. Up, Scoop and Lil Drew. All right, so first up,
I'll be a little Drew for
no.
the
first up
I don't
is
want to be screwed. What?
That's worse.
first up is Georgia State, UConn. And if you guys watched the video I uploaded last night, you already know how I feel about this game. This UConn defense deserves our respect because they're playing at a serious level. And I know it's UConn. They don't play the strongest schedule, but we watched this UConn team play Wake Forest down to the last second, held them to 23 points. They actually had the ball at midfield down 3 with 1:20 left. So UConn could have beat Wake Forest. It's not so much the offense. The offense still needs work. It's not a great offense, but defensively, UConn is putting on a clinic, man. This defense deserves respect. And Georgia State offensively, they're an offensive team, but I don't know if what they're doing the last couple games is sustainable. Does anyone know? Is it definitely Zach Gibson at quarterback? Can anyone confirm that for Georgia State? I'm assuming it's going to be. It looks like they benched Valaire.
Yeah, that was my assumption too. It's another one of those we'll see when the game starts. But I'd have a hard time because their offense has been pretty successful running the ball lately. So I doubt they changed that.
Right. So what happened is Christian Valaire had been the quarterback all year. He got injured early in the Marshall game. Zach Gibson came in, and the offense just has looked more fluent since. We've played 2 games or a game and a half since then, and the offense has looked better. But not really. Zach Gibson hasn't really been throwing the ball better. The offense as a whole has looked better. The rushing numbers have climbed. So I think it's one of those cases where Valaire got banged up and he might not get his job back type of a thing here at Georgia State, which is fine. But in this particular matchup, I think if I'm Georgia State, I'd rather have Valaire out there, the better thrower of the football. I don't think you're going to come into UConn and run the football here in Hartford.
I agree. I disagree.
They're not going to.
I think they can. All right. So if you
I'm
look
on the
at
under prop either under.
Yeah, I have that graphic in there. If you look at the season so far for UConn, I'm just going to read the teams they've played that aren't Merrimack. Okay. Maryland, Duke, FAU, Buffalo, Temple, Wake Forest, Rice. Name me the team that wants to run the football and can do it. There's not one of them. Now, with a new Zach Gibson offense, this clearly is a team that wants to run the ball. They've run the ball 34 times and 36 times in the last 2 games, respectively. So that means they want to run the ball now with this guy, and they've been successful at it. 6.1 yards per carry, 5.7 yards per carry. UConn hasn't seen that yet. And I think that this late into the season, not having faced a rush attack that wants to run the ball and can with their quarterback, especially with this new offense, I think that's a shock to the systems, and I think that could keep the game close. So I think Georgia State's going to win? Probably not. I don't think this team's overly talented. But to keep it within a touchdown, hell yeah. It's not like UConn's some world beater. UConn's beating bad football teams. They beat Rice. Rice is awful. They beat Temple. Temple's awful. They've beaten 3 teams named Owls. All of them suck. They're not a good – it's not like they're a good football team here. They are also a bad football team. Georgia State earlier in the year, I think they got a little overhyped because they did play Georgia Tech close, and they obviously beat Vanderbilt. But they're not great, but I think they can go in and keep it within a touchdown. It's not like going to UConn's the most difficult thing in the world in football. If it was basketball, maybe, but not in football. So I think they can keep it within a touchdown. I have no problem. I think there's a better energy. They're getting better as the season goes on, which is what I expected with a new head coach. So, yeah, I think they keep it close.
I do agree with some of what you said. I just don't know if I'd be that quick to be like, oh, Georgia State rushing attack now based on a 2-game sample size when they were a passing team for most of the season. And honestly, I think if you force me to pick a side, it might be Georgia State plus 7.5. So I don't even necessarily disagree with your bet. I still feel more comfortable on my under. Scoop?
This is the only bet I have tonight, personally. Like Andy said, I guess you just fade all Owls the rest of the year because they all suck. I know everybody's on UConn because, I mean, they've shown they're not UConn this year, really. Yeah, I'm definitely taking the 7.5 for Georgia State. I mean, you can see why people are on UConn. It's the best team they've had in years. They only lost to Duke by 5, Wake by 3. I mean, they're awesome in EPA per play. They're the top 15 in defensive rush and pass success rate. But like Andy said, their wins except FIU and Buffalo weren't the best. 9 points to Temple, 7 points to Rice. I think Georgia State's better than both of them. They did beat Vandy a few weeks ago before going on this slide. If this was below 7, I probably wouldn't take it. But Georgia State is really going to test UConn's corners here, I think, too. Look at the last game against Rice. Evers threw 9 of 24, 128 yards with a pick. That's Rice. They're not going to put away Georgia State by any means. And as much as it's not great, Gibson's leading this team to a way better offensive game. I'm sorry, than Christian Valor. Velo. I call him. I think it's Velo. And more importantly, he's taking care of the ball more.
Valaire.
So
it's Valaire.
But it's spelled Velo.
Like I know how it's spelled. I'm telling you how it's pronounced. It's Valaire.
That's not how it's pronounced.
Unless every announcer of the game is saying it wrong, that's how they say it is Valaire.
This is the easiest opponent Georgia State has actually faced this whole season. UConn is in the top 10 of easiest schedules so far. Hasn't faced an offense in the top 60 all year. Georgia State's going to control the clock, I feel. Like Andy said, they're going to run a lot more, especially with Gibson as a more of a run-first type of quarterback. I'm not swayed by UConn. They're definitely beatable. I don't understand the UConn love here. It's like
senior night.
It's not UConn basketball. It's just UConn. Do people forget who UConn is?
It's senior night, Scoop. Senior night.
No, like Andy said, they haven't played a game that has a run first attitude. So just run the ball. This should be a Georgia State win. I think they win outright personally, but yeah, I'm definitely on Georgia State.
Next. Speaking of Owls. Are you on the Owls here, Scoop?
No. I mean, I don't care. I mean, in the past years, this was actually an exciting game. Not so much this year. Both teams are really struggling, and really, this is more of an indication of how South Florida's playing. They should be way better than they are. We kind of predicted the drop-off for FAU to start the season. I would lean South Florida just because the talent is outweighing FAU currently. I mean, the problem is if Byron Brown was playing, I mean, this whole
he's not offense, right. Is it confirmed that he's not?
Probably not.
No, probably not. Right.
Yeah. So the whole offense here, when he hasn't played in the last month, has really hurt this team. I mean, if Archie starts, I guess he can take advantage of an FAU team who just has a terrible run defense. That's the problem. They're giving up 5.4 yards per attempt, so it should help this offense. This would be, like I said, this would be a lot better if Brown suited up and played since he's a dual threat option. He really is this whole team. But Archie's a pocket passer. Did look better in the UAB win 2 weeks ago, but who hasn't looked good against UAB? I guess the bye week probably would help here. But really, even with Archie starting here, I still trust him more than Cam Fancher. That's the issue I'm having. Because Cam Fancher, they have no passing game at all. So, which is good for South Florida because they're bad against the pass. So, really, South Florida can focus on stopping the only thing FAU is good at, the run. I mean, Florida Atlantic does have 2 wins, once against an FCS Wagner, and the other is an FIU team who's incapable of doing much of anything. But I'm not betting this. So.
Well, okay. So I don't disagree with you that South Florida is the better team. The problem is, and you did mention it, without Byron Brown, this offense is just broken, and South Florida is an offensive team. It's not like, oh, the defense will carry them. South Florida never has a good defense. This is an offensive program, and without Byron Brown, you put in Archie, I believe is the other quarterback's name. He's not a scrambler, And the last couple weeks, we're starting to see just how bad this offense is without Byron Brown's escapability out of the pocket, without his mobility out there, his athleticism. This South Florida offense looks really bad. They can't run the ball. The passing game looks terrible. So even though, yes, South Florida is the better team here, more talented top to bottom, not arguing that at all. Without Byron Brown, the quarterback situation here at South Florida takes away what South Florida is, which is an offensive team. And if they can't move the ball consistently in this game, you cannot win bets. You cannot win bets laying points on the road with South Florida on the back of its defense. You're not going to win many bets backing South Florida's defense. So, yes, I know this FAU team is bad. I know Cam Fancher has had his struggles this year. It has not been a good season for Cam Fancher here at Florida Atlantic. But this is a really nice spot for him. First of all, I shouldn't say first of all, but FAU at home is averaging over 30 points per game compared to 14 points per game on the road, I think it is, or 15 points a game on the road. So the rare times we've seen this FAU offense look good has been at home. South Florida's really struggled to defend the pass. So this is if you have any sort of belief in Cam Fancher, this is the perfect spot for him to have a good game and make some throws. I think FAU wins outright, so I did take the 2.5. It's not a big bet, so please bet responsibly. I think FAU wins, though. I think it's a good spot for them to get the upset here at home.
Well, yeah. If you look at the way that FAU is, or the games that USF has played this year, and the games where they've gotten thrown on, Southern Miss, I really can't explain that one to you, but I can tell you why Miami and Tulane threw on them. They both have good quarterbacks. Cam Fancher's not that. So I don't necessarily think that FAU is going to be able to throw on them a lot. I think the issue is that's not necessarily what FAU always wants to do. They want to run the ball. They're 40th in run frequency. And, I mean, there are good a couple teams that have run on South Florida when they want to run. Right? UAB can't do anything on offense. So I'm not really looking at that game. But, like, Memphis ran on them. Memphis doesn't run on anybody. Tulane ran on them. Obviously, Miami did. Alabama did. So, like, if you want to run on them, you pretty much can. So if that's your goal, that's what you're going to do. And I think at home underdogs for a team that's playing well at home, like it's very hard for me not to take FAU. And this is,
well, hold on, they're playing well offensively at home. The defense.
I mean, to be fair, the way that the USF offense is run without Byron
it looks
Brown,
horrible.
It's they can't move the ball, and I don't know how, because this quarterback's supposed to be a better thrower than Brown, and like, because he's not a scrambler, and they like him. Clearly, they're keeping him in, but it just isn't working, and it's a complete opposite of what I thought their season would be. I thought they had a shot to win this conference, and instead, a Friday night game against FAU, they might lose. So I would lean FAU. It's obviously not a game I'm going to be betting. I think the other ones are better, but
and that's how we lose this bet. By the way, if you're taking FAU, the path to us losing is Archie, who's supposed to be a better thrower than Byron Brown. He started 2 games, looked terrible. Coming off the bye week, now comes in and looks slightly better and is able to throw it. That's the path, in my opinion, to FAU losing, is Archie actually looks like the better thrower he's supposed to be, even though he hasn't looked like that at all.
Yeah.
Next game.
Absolute heater.
Snooky.
Next up is San Diego State Boise. I mean, you guys have anything to say? I'm good.
Ashton Genty might run for a lot of yards. Let's just say. I think
you like Ashton Genty to run the ball in this game?
Run the ball a lot. I think on underdog, it was like I didn't get it in, but I think the underdog was like his halftime is 100 yards. I think he's gonna hit that. I think this is his rebound game. He needs it too, because he just lost some his Heisman odds went down. I think that's kind of just the way that their regular season's going to go at this point. Boise State just wants him to win the Heisman because, I mean, they pretty much are going to walk into the college football playoff if they win the Mountain West. So it's pretty much just get Genty whatever he wants. I think he's going to run the ball all over him today, 200 yards or so, get those Heisman odds back. And I like San Diego State's coach, and I like the way that they're running. This isn't the year for them. It's going to be a few years before they're really competitive, but they're geting better as the season
I thought
goes
you
on.
were a Sean Lewis guy.
I am, but they're running into a Boise State buzzsaw right now because they're coming off kind of a sloppier game, and they still covered, but it was a sloppy game for them, and they probably should have lost it, but they didn't. So Coming in a little.
in your
angry about
opinion, they're coming off a Boise State buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw.
coming in, they're running into a Boise State.
Oh,
buzzsaw.
running into a
on the blue turf.
They're
tonight.
coming-
A buzzsaw.
a
Blue
buzzsaw.
turf.
A buzzsaw on the blue turf. Scoop, do you think that they're running into a Boise State buzzsaw here?
Yeah, on the blue turf. No, I actually do have a rushing thing, but not this game. I have the rushing prop tomorrow. But yeah, lost that Boise State game last week. One thing I wasn't right about was UNLV was going to stop Genty since it was the best run defense he's faced all season. But now we're back to Boise State playing terrible defenses. The Mountain West this year is garbage. Probably why half of them are moving to the Pac-12, which barely exists. So yeah, San Diego State is 93rd against the run, which is obviously a key factor. Not only 93rd there, but 124th in EPA per rush on defense. And you don't want Maddox Madsen to really throw the ball on the field much. So as long as you can give Genty the ball with his 9 yards to carry, I don't know. I think this should be an easy Boise win. It is a lot of points. San Diego State did cover their last 4 games. But I don't know. San Diego State doesn't have a solid offensive line, and though Boise State gives up a bunch of chunk plays off the defensively, they do lead the nation in sacks. So Daniel Neal, you trust that? Just trust him to lead this team down the field?
I do.
Do you?
Boise State's defense, Boise State's pass defense is not good. You can throw the ball in
Their
Boise
defense
State.
isn't very good.
Sean Lewis is a creative guy. I almost said Ed O'Neill.
O'Neal, Hulk High, 4 touchdowns.
O'Neal is getting better as the season progresses. In fact, in the last 4 games, San Diego State looks like they have a passing attack. This is the biggest flat spot of the season. I'm not saying, guys, let's take San Diego State. I'm just surprised you guys are just so, let's like 24 and a half. Who gives a shit?
If you're taking Boise, I would take a first half. That's 13 and a half.
I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking
Really?
San Diego State early. San Diego State first quarter money line. That
Well, this
O'Neal.
is why I didn't take this game. So
San Diego
I
State
think
first
you're
quarter
forgetting
money.
it's a buzzsaw.
Oh, I didn't consider the buzzsaw.
You're
Didn't consider the
forgetting
buzzsaw.
they're running into a Boise
Well, hold
State
on.
buzzsaw.
It's the biggest flat spot of the season. Boise State coming off the biggest game of the year at UNLV, comes back home against a team they're supposed to kill, a team that all of a sudden has a passing attack.
they did cover 4 games in a row.
Yeah, that's what
Diego
dude. O'Neal can throw. I'm betting this shit, man. You guys are pissing me off.
How many
I feel bad
buzzsaws
that
on the
I'm-
bluegrass have there been previously?
Yeah, buzzsaw on the bluegrass. That's what
I'm
I
fading the buzzsaw. Fading the buzzsaw. I don't even know what the hell is a buzzsaw.
That's buzzes
I'm betting this right now.
like a circular saw.
Plus 24. No, do I want to stick to the first half? What's the first half? How about this? First half.
13 and a half. It was 13 and a half.
First half, 14 and a half.
14 and a half now.
Oh, no. 14 and a half on DraftKings.
Better for you.
O'Neal's going to get it down the field.
Al Bundy.
Not scared of the buzzsaw. Sorry, hold on. I really want to bet this now because you guys just no hesitation. Yeah, sure, 24 and a half against a team.
I didn't say. I'm just like betting it. I didn't say anything like that. I said Genty should have a good game. The San Diego State team's run defense is garbage. That's all I said.
Bet. Let me just share the screen shot in the Discord so they see it. San Diego State first half plus 14 and a half. I'm locked in, baby. What's a buzzsaw? That's the title of that bet.
What's a buzzsaw?
All right, I'm in. Let's do
What
the
they're
community
running.
parlay. Hit the song.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay. Yeah.
All right. Let's do the community parlay. I'll get it up.
Who's ready for the college basketball show Monday?
Yeah, we got to figure out what we're doing about
I
that.
don't think Kyle is, but I think we are. Baylor Zags. We're gonna fade the Zags, right? So Toast can cry.
Zags play on Monday?
Yeah, Baylor, big game.
That is a cool game. All right, first I'm doing the poll. First one up. So we got Celtics money line. We got Cavs money line. We got Knicks money line. And we got Lakers money line. First leg of the community parlay. Cast your votes.
This guy betting his full unit on San Diego State, 14 and a half.
It's a 0.75 unit.
Oh, is it? Oh, you see, you're not too confident.
Looks like you're not very confident. You're scared of the buzzsaw.
Wow.
5,
He's a buzzsaw
4,
coming by.
3, 2, 1, end poll. The first leg of the community parlay is Boston moneyline. Shocker. Then we got Kings moneyline. We got Bulls moneyline. We got Pacers moneyline. And we got Nuggets Timberwolves. Who did they vote for in that? I don't even know. Let's just say Timberwolves.
Dude, there was a nice Conklin under.
Why, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Proppy read
-3.
Proppy read Conklin under, Jets, and under. He swept the board on that last night's game.
No, I didn't have the actual under.
I thought you said the under on the show last night.
No, I just like backslid put that up while I was like fidgeting to try and get the actual graphic up. You know, that was just me spazzing. You know. But no, I would have bet the Jets if I wasn't emotionally scarred from the previous 8 games in the season. But that's what I'd recommended to people, and then I did bet the Conklin. It was really nice to see the Jets put it together. First half, wow, what a performance!
Looked like same old Jets there for the first half.
I mean, through the first half, I think that was the worst the Jets have looked all season, and that really says a lot. But then the second half, I mean, we actually looked really goddamn good. I mean, it was really nice to have Garrett Wilson get that signature moment. I mean, a lot of this one dickwad in my fraternity has talked shit. I mean, he's the kid in the Barstool video with me. The kid has talked shit on Garrett Wilson all year, and I'm like, and he was like the one who wanted Devontae. I'm like, dude.
Wait, the kid from the Barstool video, that's the one?
Yeah, he was talking shit on Garrett Wilson all year. I'm like, dude, Garrett Wilson is that dude. I'm like, you have to realize you started off the year facing like Patrick Surtain, Christian Gonzalez. I'm trying to think of all the corners you had to face start off the year, and he was the only one that the defense has had to worry about. Now he has an easier stretch. He has Devontae getting some easier coverage for him. He's gonna shine.
That catch was
phenomenal.
It was the first game that there was a person that caught 2 one-handed touchdown catches.
So the third leg, it goes Celtics money line, Kings money line, Thunder money line, and then we're gonna do the last leg right now with all the second place finishers, which is Cavaliers money line.
It was the only night I think this entire season where I was happy to be a Jet.
That he smiled.
the first time I smiled.
It was the first night of the year that I didn't cry before I went to sleep.
I cannot believe that right before I left, I said there's a significant kicking advantage in the game, and then Kaimi Fairbairn goes and misses 2 kicks. And
misses a 27-yard field goal.
Like, what
you want to know what I said to Kyle directly before that? I'm like, well, the thing is, like, if Texans get the ball back before half, Kaimi could kick like a 55-yarder, misses a 27-yarder.
Dude, he can't kick unless it's from 50. Like, the dude misses, I think he's missed 4 this year.
Dude, he missed 1 from 52 last night. The guy's just lost it.
I know Beaver didn't go to Hustlers U. He is the Miami U.
So the community parlay, Celtics money line, Kings money line, Thunder money line, Cavs money line.
All right, let's put that together. Wait, what's more? The Hustlers?
Yeah, Prop Beaver's a Cane. He's a Cane for life.
No, I actually hate my Canes.
He hates the Canes now.
The only time they're good, and he hates them.
No, I've hated
the playoff.
No, see, I have to be loyal with my Canes hate. They've never had grit. They're good now, but I got to stay loyal in terms of my Canes.
Because they never had grit.
They've never had grit, and they never will have grit.
They
They
never
still
had.
don't have grit. I mean, they're just
I wouldn't say they have grit.
quarterback really good. That's all.
Well, guess what?
What they have, they're bottom 10 in grit.
Bottom 10 grit.
Out of
Top 10 in
134
finesse,
teams.
bottom 10 in grit.
Where's the Cavs?
Andy, define grit.
I don't even know.
It's what Miami doesn't have.
Opposite of what Miami is, that's for sure.
It's just such a gritless team.
I got the 4 teams, but DraftKings not putting the parlay odds together.
Is grit a made-up word? What is grit?
Grittiness.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know.
okay,
Well,
define
there's
it.
sandpaper grit.
What's the odds on the community parlay, please?
I think he's working on it. DraftKings is being mean.
Where? Okay, so I got Thunder. Where's the? Oh, it's a Thunder one that I'm missing. Oh, we got a heater. Plus 160, guys.
The community parlay, Boston money line, Sacramento money line, Oklahoma
Failing.
City money line, Cleveland money line, plus 160. A real smoker here from the community, but sometimes they just want to see one go through the net. So that's a community parlay. Please tell responsibly. Everyone, have yourselves a great Friday night. We'll be back at 10 a.m. Eastern time to go through the whole college football slate. We'll be live for 2 straight hours. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Let's have a good weekend. Please remember to bet responsibly. Talk to you later.
Stay blessed.